Hey guys, what's going on? It's Vic here, back with another Madden 21 video. In today's episode, we're going to be rebuilding the Houston Texans, who have had a major down year from last year compared to this year. And the sad part about that is they don't get a first round pick. They gave up their first round pick to the Dolphins for Lermy Tunsil and Kenny Stills. So, that is definitely disappointing that they're going to go, I believe, 4-12, maybe 5-11, and still not going to get a top 5 pick because they gave up their first round pick. That is very disappointing, but let's see how we can rebuild this team and get into it. So here we are with the overlook of the team as we have DeShaun Watson, absolutely amazing. His talent has just been a little bit misused in my opinion. David Johnson and Duke Johnson are both here. David Johnson, horrible trade with DeAndre Hopkins. Darren Fells, not going to be the tight end of the future. O-line, not good. Definitely gets injured a lot. Titus Howard has potential, but in real life, he's not that good yet. And defensively on the D-line, it's only good because of J.J. Watt. Linebacking core is pretty solid because of middle linebackers. Defensive backs aren't that great, but Justin Reed is great. And maybe, who is this guy? Lonnie Johnson will be good, I think. Yeah, he could be good, potentially, if he does get a dev up. But anyways, guys, there's a lot of cap players on this team, so other than that, let's get into the trades. So the first cap player is Randall Cobb, David Johnson, a 6th-round pick, going to waste their careers on the Jets for the first from the Jets. Next, we're trading away Darren Fells, Duke Johnson, and Willie Merciless, I believe it is, for a first this year and a first next year from the Jets. Next, we're trading away he's a second-string center, I think, a second-string strong safety, and a right guard for a first pick in the draft. Next, we're trading away another depth players. All these players are depth and take up a lot of cap room for a first, a 5, and a 5. So, a lot of you guys may be saying, oh, why would you make those trades? The only starting player that I traded away was my center, and he wasn't even that good, I think. And I traded away Darren Fells, and he would have immediately retired after this. So, really doesn't matter to me, and I've traded away a few more players, I think, but either number one, they have age, or they have high cap room and they're a low overall. If they have a high cap room and they are not at least an 85, they are not going to be on this team. I'm telling you that right now. So anyways, guys, apart from that, it is time to get into the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark as we are coming off a bye week, as we are 4-3 surprisingly. So if any of you guys were mad at those trades, definitely didn't prove to be too wrong, but we are in a highly contested division as we are 4-3, and we have Will Fuller to re-sign. He gets injured quite a bit in real life, I believe, if I'm not mistaken there, but I am going to re-sign him because this Madden injury is off as he re-signs with the team. Vernon Hargreaves seems to be a draft bust. Everyone was mad when the Giants picked Eli Apple, but both of them seem to be pretty bad, but I'm not going to re-sign them. So other than that, boys, let's get into the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs as we are coming off a loss to the Titans as we finished bottom of the division 5-11. Never mind, this team isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. Worst offense in the NFL. How? 29th best defense. How? DeShaun Watson, 3,600 yards, 25 TDs, 11 interceptions. Rushing wise, okay, it's definitely the halfback is the problem. Why does my tight end have the most receptions and yards on the team other than Brandon Cooks? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I guess it is what it is. Defensively, Bernardrick McKinnon with the most tackles on the team. Most tackles for a loss goes to 17 for J.J. Watt, and most sacks on the team is only 9 for J.J. Watt, which is disappointing. Interceptions, 3 for Bradley Roby. He should be pretty good, and safeties on the team is going to be 0, and defensive touchdowns on the team is going to be 0 as well. So other than that, guys, we are looking all right, set up for the future maybe. But anyways, let's get to the offseason. Here we are in the offseason as the Ravens beat the Bears in the Super Bowl, which is a little bit surprising. And other than that, we are going to look into this as it looks like Josh McCown retires on our team. Oh no, what a huge loss for us. What are we ever going to do in the future? Anyways, we have some players to re-sign here, and I might re-sign Garen Conley if he's cheap. He is really cheap, and I might even, I'm pretty sure I'd pick him up for that cheap in free agency anyway, so I might as well re-sign him. I'm going to re-sign him, and Vernon Hargreaves was a first-round bust, it seems to be so far, and I know it's a little early in his career to say that, but so far he hasn't been great, and I'm just going to re-sign him because he is really, really cheap. Might as well do it. We have depth at defensive back now. I might need to draft one in the draft. But looking into the team, halfback is a guaranteed, definite need. And it looks like one of the outside linebackers got started. Duke, Ejiofor, I don't know what to say, guys. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. I'm just stuttering all over my words. But still, let's get to free agency is what I meant to say. Let's get to free agency as we picked up Aaron Jones in free agency and Marlon Mack as a depth player on an extremely cheap deal, a lot cheaper than David Johnson. Allen Robinson here, superstar X Factor, got our number 1 receiver, and now we have 3 really good receivers that we can work with. Richard Sherman we also got as a rental player. I don't want to keep him long term, but he is on a dirt cheap deal. But anyways, guys, other than that, let's get to the draft. Here we are in the draft as we're picking up an outside linebacker, Daquan Cunningham, another Cunningham that is a linebacker, 77 overall, hidden development. Next, we're picking up Jerome Harris, 75 overall, normal dev. Sadly, it was only normal dev, but he is a strong safety, and I'm pretty sure he's going to start over Lonnie Johnson. Next, we're picking up a defensive and Tyler Eisen, 68 overall, a hidden dev. I picked him up in the later rounds, so this was definitely a steal of a pick. And after the draft, this is what the team looks like, as I did improve the O-line a slight bit. Draft class for O-line this year, especially in Madden 21, just isn't that strong. Edge has gone up, and I moved to a 4-3 and moved Zach Cunningham to outside linebacker. So this team is overall not looking bad, but it's not looking great either, I would say. It still needs a lot of things to progress and build on. But other than that, guys, it is time to get to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a loss to the Indianapolis Colts, as we are 4-3, third in the division, in another highly contested division once again. And it looks like JJ Watt is going to need to be re-signed. I always see him in free agency, and I don't want him to go to free agency. And I can see why he's always in free agency, because the CPU never trades away their cap players that should obviously be traded away, and then they don't have any money to re-sign anyone else. So I'm going to re-sign Justin Reed and JJ Watt. And it looks like Geno Atkins we apparently signed from free agency, but everyone else here I don't have an interest for, and I really will have a hard time trying to pay them. But anyways, guys, let's get to the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs, coming off a loss to the Jaguars, but we finished 11-5 here in the wild card, second in the division behind the 11-5 Tennessee Titans, so we don't get a bye or anything like that. DeShaun Watson did pretty good, 12th best offense in the league and 15th best defense in the league. And DeShaun Watson, 3,800 yards, 34 TDs, 7 interceptions. Aaron Jones, 6 TDs and 1,100 yards. Marlon Mack with 9 TDs, doing pretty good as well. So running game has definitely improved from last year. Will Fuller did pretty good. Ball distribution was overall pretty solid. Will Fuller definitely got the most targets. Allen Robinson got more targets. I wish they would involve Allen Robinson just a little bit more. Benardrick McKinney with the most tackles on the team. Most tackles for a loss, 14 for J.J. Watt. Most sacks on the team, 11 for J.J. Watt. That is what I like to see, but not much after that in terms of sacks. 6 interceptions for Richard Sherman. Absolutely great year for him. Definitely excited about that, especially since he's even regressing, so that could help stop his regression. But Benardrick McKinney and J.J. Watt, both with the safety and defensive touchdowns, is 1 for Richard Sherman, having an amazing year this year. Looking into the yearly awards, does he win the best defensive back? I kind of want to see that right now. Aaron Rodgers wins MVP, just want to point that out. And let's go over to Defensive Player of the Year. He's not even in the talk. Really, best DB is L'Jarius Sneed. That is interesting. On the 7-9 Chiefs. Okay. Didn't really expect that. But we're going to simulate this wildcard round against the New England Patriots to see if we can move on to the divisional round. Can we do it? And please load, as we do, as we are here to face the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 8-8. And we are going to upgrade some players as we beat the Patriots 24-21. I'm actually going to need to simulate this divisional round, but I will hop into the conference championship if we win it. Can we win against the 8-8 Bengals? We do, winning 42-35. We're here to face the 8-8 Indianapolis Colts, as we were just coming off a loss to them, and they were the 7th seed as well. So since we were just coming off a loss to them, might as well just hop into it and see what happens in the simulation. So we are here in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, 6-14, now 12-14, very tight game in this fourth quarter, and we are going to win because they did not get a 2-point conversion, and they had Colin Kaepernick too. That's surprising. Anyways, guys, we're in the Super Bowl here to face the Cowboys. We always face the Cowboys or the Browns in the Super Bowl, or even the Panthers. It's very frustrating. Football team, Panthers, Cowboys, and Browns always make it in there. I don't know why. Those are the 4 teams that I always see in the Super Bowl. Never really changes, but the Cowboys are a simulation god, so this might be hard. I forgot we signed Geno Atkins. It looks like Zach Cunningham now has superstar dev, along with Daquan Cunningham, who looks like he came with superstar dev. So that is very, very cool to see both the Cunninghams on the outside linebacker position and both having superstar development. Tyler Eisen only has star development, which is a little bit disappointing, but he is already went from a 68 to a 73, so that is successful. So let's just jump into the Super Bowl. So here we are in the Super Bowl, as it looks like they still have Dak Prescott, obviously, 28-34, as we are going to win the Super Bowl. That was a very short-lived Super Bowl. I know you guys didn't really get to see a lot of it, but I can't really commentate for the entire fourth quarter. It gets a little boring after that. But anyways, we have won the Super Bowl just in the second year of the rebuild. So we are looking into DeShaun Watson, the MVP, 317 yards, 3 TDs, 2 interceptions, 69 nice 0.7% completion rates. But anyways, guys, other than that, I'd say it's time to get into the offseason. So here we are in the offseason as we beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl, obviously, as you can tell. And looking into the retirements, Geno Atkins did retire. I don't really care. The CPU signed him. I never signed him in the first place. But anyways, guys, other than that, looking into the free agents, can I re-sign that guy? I don't think I really need him anyway, so I'm not going to re-sign him. So other than that, let's get to free agency. So here we are in free agency, and we really don't have any money at all. We're negative $11.57 million, so we couldn't re-sign anyone anyway, so let's just get to the draft. So we were on the draft picking up a wide receiver, Jason Parrish, 76 overall, normal dev. He was kind of the best player available type of deal, so I guess he's going to be a slot. Next, we're picking up a right guard, Daryl Young, 73 overall, normal development. Wasn't that great of a pick. O-line always went like the first top 5. So O-line really went in top 5, and it was really hard to pick up O-line from that point. But we did improve on the interior offensive line, and tight ends have really been lacking throughout this entire rebuild. So it's really hard to get that going. But receivers and running backs doing great. D-line is looking a slight bit better, not great overall, but overall this team is forming up pretty well, even though we already won the Super Bowl. So let's get to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a loss to the Bengals, as we are 4-4, third in the division once again, in another highly contested division. Dang, this is really hard to win this division. Bradley Roby, 82 overall, 30 years old. I don't know if I can re-sign that. I'd like to see how he regressed at the end of the year, and we don't even have any money to re-sign anyone anyways. So that might be a problem, but at the same time, I'm glad there isn't any big players to re-sign, so let's just get to the playoffs. Here we are in the playoffs as we're coming off a win to the Jaguars, and it looks like we didn't make the playoffs either. We finished 8-8, third in the division behind the 10-6 Titans and 11-5 Colts. DeShaun Watson had a pretty good year, actually. The best offense in the NFL and the 19th best defense is what is holding us back. 4,100 yards, 33 TDs, 18 interceptions is a lot. Rushing wise, Aaron Jones, 14 TDs and 1,500 yards. Absolutely amazing. Marlon Mack with 8 TDs and DeShaun Watson with 6 rushing TDs. Brandon Cooks did pretty good. Allen Robinson, 10 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. These top 3 players have been doing great. Ball distribution was great on that as well. I don't know why I just backed out of that. I need to go to the defense. Garyon Conley with the most tackles on the team. Whenever a defensive back has the most tackles, that is a problem. And tackles for a loss, 10 for J.J. Watt, most sacks on the team. 10.5 for J.J. Watt, most interceptions on the team. 3 for Bradley Roby, and safeties on the team is going to go to 0. And defensive touchdowns is 0. So not too surprised by those stats. I was surprised by the offensive stats. But anyways, guys, let's get to the offseason. So here we are in the offseason as the Seahawks beat the Ravens in the Super Bowl, as the Ravens make their second second Super Bowl appearance, and it looked like Drew Brees there was retired for the Ravens for the second. I don't know why he was on the Ravens, but he was. Bradley Roby is now a superstar dev. That is surprising, but we are negative $15 million in cap room, so we can't sign anyone anyways. But looking into the team to see if there's any development upgrades, Aaron Jones is now a superstar X Factor. That is not surprising. 99 overall, superstar X Factor running back. That is amazing for us. None of these superstar abilities really matter, but Bulldozer and Human Joystick is really fun to play with. And it looks like our tight end also got star dev. Hold up. Let me go over here. And yeah, our tight end also got star dev because he had like 5 touchdowns, almost 1,000 yards. Pretty good year for him, so we're probably going to keep him around instead of replacing him. And it looks like defensively, Bradley Roby just got superstar dev, but he's not going to be on this team anymore, so it really won't matter as he is regressing as well. And we're just going to have depth at defensive back. Strong safety and defensive back has really been our problem throughout this rebuild. I guess Richard Sherman retired or something. I didn't see it before, but yeah, that's kind of disappointing. Tyler Eisen is not progressing like I wanted him to from last year. But yeah, again, we need defensive backs and we need defensive tackles in the draft. So anyways, guys, let's jump into the draft. So first of all, I have to show you Again, in free agency, we don't have any money at all, so I won't have to worry about that. So let's just get into the draft. So we were on the draft picking up a defensive end to hopefully replace Tyler Eisen, but obviously he's not that good, so he probably won't replace him. Next, we're picking up a tight end, 71 overall, hidden dev. So hopefully we can maybe use more tight ends in our scheme. I don't quite know about that one yet. So all the really good players were taken off the board really early, like all the defensive tackles and the defensive backs. So it was really hard to get through that. And everyone else here, I'll just have to rely on depth in defensive back. I mean, we don't have bad players at defensive back. We just have a lot of average players. Mark Bonner, I did not pick you. The CPU picked you, but that is a legendary name. Anyways, guys, we're gonna have to get. No, I can't simulate without going. Boys, we have to do it. I'm like a 5-year-old. I'm a child. Mark Bonner. God, your parents must hate that. Your parents must hate you sometimes. But I'm gonna make you hate me even more. Guys, you guys already know I have to do it. If you have made it this far in the video, make sure you like and or subscribe. It really helps me out. Anyways, guys, you can tell on the screen what I am doing, but yeah, just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it at all. It's a legendary name. He shall keep it. He's like John Pinacini or John Johnson. Yes, those are real NFL players. Names, they're really hard these days. Anyways, guys, other than that, let's get to the midseason mark. Here we are at the midseason mark, coming off a win to the Dolphins. We are 4-3 once again. We cannot for the life of us get more than 4 wins, but we are finally second in the division, as it looks like we have players to resign such as Laremy Tunsil. But just like every year in the final year, I do not need to resign anyone because it is the final year, so I will not worry about that. So other than that, let's get into the playoffs. So we were on the playoffs, coming off a loss to the Jaguars, as we didn't make the playoffs once again. So apparently we've missed the playoffs for 3 years, but in the second year we made it, we won the Super Bowl. That is interesting, as we went 8-8 once again. DeShaun Watson did great again. I don't think that's going to be MVP. He's going to be in the talk, as he is 5th for MVP. As DeShaun Watson did really good. 11th best offense in the NFL and 2nd worst defense in the NFL. What is up with our defense? That does make sense. Linebacking core is great. Free safety is great. I mean, defensive backs aren't that great, but still. Aaron Jones, 8 TDs, 1,200 yards. Pretty good year. Brendan Cooks, almost 900 yards, 7 TDs. The tight end is really getting involved here. And defensively, Bernardrick McKinney with the most tackles on the team once again. And tackles for a loss goes to 12 for J.J. Watt. And most sacks on the team is 12.5 for J.J. Watt. No surprise there. And interceptions for the team, 2 for Zach Cunningham. Very lackluster for interceptions, I would say. And safeties on the team is 0. And defensive touchdowns on the team is also 0. So, no surprise there. But also, guys, we actually won the Super Bowl, so this is a successful rebuild. And I know winning in the second season shouldn't be considered a rebuild, but we did get Aaron Jones and Allen Robinson for the second season, so I can see why we did win in the second year. We also got DeShaun Watson up to a 99 overall. Sadly, not an X factor, but still, he played amazingly. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you drop a like or a sub. Anyways, guys, apart from that, I'll see you guys all in the next one.